up, Tank Nerds? Lottie here again. We have a lot to cover. So, what am we talking about today? The Ferret, everything that we've been up to, everything that we're doing, projects that we have been doing in the interim. So this week, as I'm filming, I actually haven't done a lot to the Ferret itself, but I've technically missed a week of filming, so there's still a lot to cover. And the reason we haven't done a week on the Ferret is for a very good reason, and I will show a little bit of that at the end. Yes, by all means, hate me for doing that, but it gets views, so whatever, deal with it. But you're going to really want to stick around for it. So, yeah, what I've been up to on the Ferret. First things first, I have almost, we're like 99.99% done with the wiring in this Ferret. There are a few things that the owner would like done, which we are going to have to sort of fit into it. But first I would like to talk about the very spicy comments on my last video. Look, if it wasn't already obvious, I'm a sarcastic human being. And some of you really, really want to die on the hill that British Electrics are good. And that's, I know, like, that's just an outright fallacy. Sorry. The biggest comment that I saw on the last video was because of the age of the vehicle. All of the wires had deteriorated because it's in the wrong environment, yada yada yada. You know, excuses. Look, they're still terrible. Yes, wiring and all that sort of stuff, they deteriorate over time. That's just a genuine fact. But making it not work in the tropics is that's nothing to die on a hill about. It's actually just terrible quality. For instance, the ignition system that I have been really working hard on, we'll walk out and I'll show you some of those wires later. Anyway, that sort of wiring is actually completely enclosed with its tiny little sleeve, and it was still deteriorated beyond belief, and that's within a controlled waterproof sleeving. That's one of the things that the British do really well. It is predominantly aircraft grade sort of style of insulating, wiring, spark plugs, all that. The spark plugs on this are aircraft spark plugs. Really good. I like them. Spark plugs, 10 out of 10, would use again. In fact, we are. But the wiring is just terrible. So, I don't know. Continue to die on that hill. It really does great for the viewership. Awesome. Anyway, I will show you what I've been up to while we're in here. It is significantly dirtier. Just fair warning. Let's get into it. Okay, those are all nice and neat and groovy. Happy, good for days. Really not happy with the way the wiring has to go up behind here. Those are not removable, those brackets, so you actually have to pull these little lugs through them, and they're only just big enough to fit. Terrible design, don't like it, but the owner wants it to be as original as possible without compromising safety. Sure thing. So that's what we're going to have to do. You will notice there is a significant gap here, and unfortunately it's ruined a lot of that sort of paint work. What has happened? What goes here? This is where the brake master cylinder goes. Normally on most cars they sort of go behind the pedals, but of course this being an armored car, everything is different. So this is where the brake master cylinder goes. So there's the brake pedal, that one there, it's folded all the way forwards, goes back, goes onto a bell crank here, pulls it, yada yada yada, really good stuff. Now, the bit of fun fact for you: most military vehicles use hydraulic oil instead of brake fluid to run the brake system. That's been a fairly standard practice for a lot of military vehicles. Not all. and we'll get to that in a sec. But the reason you do that is because brake fluid can go off. Hydraulic fluid, typically doesn't. And by using hydraulic oil for your braking system, you run into other issues as you go. But it means that as the vehicles are running in convoy, you don't need 3, 4, 5, whatever, however many different consumables to bring with you. Hydraulic oil is hydraulic oil, and all the hydraulics in all the tanks, all the armored cars can be used on all the brake systems, so you don't have to carry as much. Obviously, that's not the case for all systems, including this one. This uses brake fluid, but it uses English brake fluid. I did read up on this, completely forgot it as I'm talking to you now. But if you put in the wrong brake fluid, all the lines go to hell, all the seals break, and they go completely pear-shaped. They swell up, not really good. Same thing happens when you put any brake fluid into a hydraulic line. It's just how it happens. So what has happened is someone has put American brake fluid into this reservoir, and it's ruined it completely. We thought we could get away with it. We couldn't. It's come off, and it's got to be re-sleeved. So I had to pull that off the other day and get rid of it, and it's being re-sleeved. Not a major problem, except, and I do wish I filmed more of it, but basically this bolt goes through the brake master. These 4 bolts go through the brake master. Not really a bad problem, except in order to get this nut off here, these aren't captive. That spins. So thankfully, only one of them came loose as I was undoing them. And I had to put a spanner. That's just one of the things. I had to put a spanner behind here. Now, if it was one of these ones, fitting a spanner all the way down there, with the brake master in place, by the way, mind you. So the brake master sort of sits up about here. It's got a little filler, There's not a lot of room, especially for that one there. Terrible idea. 0 out of 10. Should have made it captive. Just thread this plate here. Wouldn't have been a problem, but they didn't do that. So I will continue to slaughter this vehicle with bad reviews. And I don't care about. In fact, I would love it if more people commented about how much I'm wrong, because I don't know, it does really good for the algorithm. And also, if I hate these so much, why would I have bought my own one? So, it's all fun and games. So, don't like it, stupid idea, but that's why we had to do it. Wrong brake fluid, it's ruined it. We have done a lot of work to the handbrake system now, which go down these pipes. I will talk about that probably on a later video when we actually refit them. It was just annoying to take them off. Moving on, you will notice the big mess that I have in front of me here. So what has happened is we don't talk about the people that we do these jobs for. I just always say the client. The client for this one is older, we'll just say that. And the forward reverse lever on these can be difficult to operate after a series of years just sort of sitting there. And it got to the point where I was struggling to push that forward and back. It's just not going to work for the owner, unfortunately. So, it's a easy fix, but still difficult. And I was hoping I was going to be able to do it the easy way, which was take the split pin out, pull this off. There's a little belt crank down here. Take the split pin out of that. The rod just comes off. It comes to a bar. I've put that back on. Damn it. There's a belt, there's a bar that goes through here with belt cranks on the top and bottom. So there's a little belt crank under here, and that connects to this rod, which goes under this plate here. No, I'll talk about that one later. But essentially, this holds in a a spring and a ball bearing, and that acts as your what do you call it? When it slides, it clicks into place. So this is your position finder, and there's a rod that goes back and forth in here. I'll show it at a later date. But essentially, this is how your forward reverse lever works. I had to remove it all, clean it out, polish it up so it would go in and out. The holes weren't drilled perfectly aligned, which is where we're getting a lot of the resistance from. But now it works very easy now, but it still locks in place with this ball bearing system here, so you can push it with a little bit of force and nothing's going to happen. So it does require enough force just to disengage the ball bearing, and then it goes quickly, so you can just hear it click into place there, and then it won't go anywhere. So I've cleaned all that up, but the problem was this. So there's a shroud that goes over here, very much like the one I'm sitting on, exactly this, but on this side here. By taking that split pin out, you can't actually force this off because it's too close to the shroud. So I took the shroud off, and then it's still too close to take off. Even if you take all of these bolts off, which I tried afterwards, and to pull it off, it still will not clear this drive line. So I unbolted it from this side just because it was easier. That side is just really annoying to get to. So unbolt it, just 4 bolts here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you can pull the whole lot away from this and it'll clear. Again, 0 out of 10 idea. Don't know what they were thinking. So yes, more annoying British stuff. Moving on, the wiring is 99% done here. You'll see I've still got one of these stupid connectors. That is because we haven't collected the 4-way connector yet, but I have connected the wires up above and below it, so it's just a matter of just pulling it out, swapping it over. Easy peasy. I've insulated all the other ones, nice conduiting, really groovy, and of course the batteries are now connected. They will get cleaned up a little bit more, and we need to fit our fuel system, which is going up there. So yeah, we've done a lot, and it all works. I've still got to fix this. This is a bit dicky. Just this wire here. You can see it like goes over center, but that, see, it kind of goes off and on, but it works. So that is the engine turning over. I won't do it much more than that, just because we have oil pipes exposed and I don't want to be covered in oil, but that was enough to drive home the point. So it turns over, yay, not a problem. And there's a big fat spark, which I'll show in another video. Right, so that is the short of it for what I've done in the Ferret. There is a lot more that I have done and a lot more to talk about, which I will do in the next video. But I think we're up to date on the Ferret. Now, I did promise to show what we've been working on, and I will do that now. It's really bright, so you're just gonna have to bear with me. I'm gonna put my booties on. So yes, by all means, comment. Ooh, nearly fell back over. So yes, by all means, comment. I love comments, even the sort of like not so nice ones, because it feeds my ego. Yeah, I really don't know who those. Look, it's all well and good, you know, saying that British stuff isn't as bad as I make it out to be, but I don't know. I'm the one working on them. I'm the one actually fixing them. I'm allowed to say what I want. So, what have we been working on? Really cool. It's a sea mine. You get to see the rest of that in the next video. So yes, really, really cool. Never done a sea mine before. I've been learning lots about sea mines and how they all go together. Peter has been making a little carriage for it. I've done a lot of work on the sea mine itself, and we get little souvenirs. So yeah, I've been learning all sorts of fun stuff. Alright, I think that'll do it. We're about the 15-minute mark. Hit the like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment, lots of comments. We love the comments. And I will see you on the next one.